Steve strolled through the halls of the helicarrier, his duffel bag sagging against his shoulder. The captain had swiftly changed it out of his suit and was now making his way to the gym. When he arrived, however, he did not expect to meet someone else there as well. Howdy, Captain, Applejack greeted from the punching bag she was at. Steve sat down his bag on a bench. Hi, Applejack. I didn't expect you to be here. Well, I thought I ought to brush up on my bucking, she replied, raising her hind legs thrusting them at the bag. The punching bag was sent flying into the air, swinging back to meet the earth pony's hooves once more. Fury said this would be the best place to train. Well, he's not wrong, Steve stated. He quickly wrapped his hand and hung a punching bag on a hook, just waiting to be knocked down. Would you mind if I turned on the radio? Not at all, Cap, Applejack answered cheerfully. I would have done myself, but I don't have any hands. Steve chuckled at the Earth Pony's remark before turning the button on the antique radio he had brought. It reminded him of home. It reminded him of his home. And besides, he still couldn't figure out how to work those new contraptions anyway. As he expected, the news was on, covering Discord and the Loki attack on the city. Several alien creatures terrorized the streets, the reporter announced. Beside them were many freaks of nature, such as dancing buffalo in tutus and herds of giant rabbits stampeding down the streets. Many say this has to do with the strange weather occurrences around the area, but the question is, who caused it? That mudslick Discord. That's who, Applejack muttered, kicking her bag in anger at the memory. Steve winced as he remembered his time underneath Discord's trickery, but he had resolved to put that behind him now. He would not try to think of it anymore, like how he tried not to think of Coulson's death anymore. Thankfully, the report continued, the Avengers were there once again to save the day, but they were not alone. A group of strange, small, colorful horses also accompanied them. Not as mounts, but as helpers in the fight. Some witnesses say that they had the ability to talk, and that some of their horns and some had horns and pair of wings, and others pair of wings. Scientists believe that these ponies were the result of a freak mutation in the genetic code of horses. Several skeptics are rejecting the idea, saying that it's impossible for some small cartoonish things to become here. The rest of the radio broadcast was cut off as the punching bag flew off its hook and collided with the radio, successfully shutting it off, at the least. Steve turned to Applejack, who was sneering and glaring hatredly at the radio. He crouched down, attempting to comfort the angered pony. Hey, don't listen to what they say, he stated, looking straight in Applejack's eyes. Those reporters, they're completely wrong. Look at Fluttershy. Everyone thought she was just a timid, weak pony. But she ended up being the one who stopped Loki for good. Steve sighed, reaching out a hand on the orange pony's shoulder, and putting it on the earth pony's shoulder. A long time ago, I was taught that what makes you a hero is not just what's on the outside, it's also what's in your heart. Your feelings, motivation, bravery, that's what makes you and your friends true heroes. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Steve smiled, rising to his feet. Now come on, I bet I can knock down more punching bags than you can. A smirk plastered itself on Applejack's face. You're on, partner. Woohoo! Two whoops of joy filled the city as two streaks of light, one red and the other blue, darted across the sky like a pair of shooting stars. Rainbow Dash and Tony were back in their suits, having a grand time as they raced through the New York City skyline. Both were hurling at incredible speeds, each having broken the sound barrier at least twice. Man, I totally beat you that time, Rainbow Dash shouted as they eventually came to a stop. Really? Because I'm pretty sure I won, Tony retorted, smirking beneath his faceplate. You did not, Rainbow Dash denied. Did so, did not, did so, did not. Tony chuckled at their banner. Well, as much as I'd like to continue our argument, there is something I want to show you. Come on. With a burst of speed, Tony rocketed towards his building, Rainbow Dash close behind. The Stark Tower had been fully restored, the only thing not fixed being the glowing letters plastered on the building's front. The lone A was still there, shining brightly in the night. Tony liked it better that way. The duo touched down on the landing pad simultaneously. At Tony's command, yellow robotic arms began disassembling his armor, removing it from his person to reveal a casual shirt and jeans beneath. Meanwhile, Rainbow Dash had deactivated her armor, the metal pieces folding neatly away into her vest. Jarvis, Tony called out once both he and Dash had removed their suits. Yes, sir, Jarvis answered, his robotic and surprisingly British voice. Rainbow's eyes widened when Jarvis answered, the Seeing Pegasus laying out an impressed whistle. Man, I seriously need to get one of those. Well, Dashy, Jarvis is mine, Tony replied. Get your own computerized butler. Suddenly he clapped his hands as if remembering something. Oh, introductions. Jarvis, meet Rainbow Dash, fellow world saver. I want you to bring up the plans for the Avengers mansion. Right away, sir, Jarvis responded as the duo sat down on Tony's overly plush couch. Immediately, the coffee table in front of them was illuminating with several three-dimensional blueprints of a huge house on the coast of California, according to the map in the left corner of the display. This is my old house in Malibu, Tony explained, enlarging the model of the building. Snazzy, huh? Without waiting for a reply, Tony continued. Well, since I'm living in this beautiful tower now, I decided to put this to good use. He waved his hand, changing a few of the room dimensions and adding a bit more detail to the inside. One floor was completely dedicated to a training room, and a shooting range was added in the basement. Several of the seemingly empty rooms now had beds in them, and the kitchen was expanded greatly. These are the plans for the Avengers residence, he announced, spinning the model around a few times. I think it looks really nice. His smile grew as he waved his hand once more, more additions falling into place. 6 more rooms were filled with beds. An enormous library was added to the left side, and a beautiful garden was scheduled to be filled with several small critters appeared outside. But after the recent events, I decided to add some more changes. What are these for? Rainbow inquired. They're for you guys, of course, Tony replied simply. I mean, you are the Avengers now, aren't you? Rainbow Dash paused for a moment, a wide grin slowly spreading across her face. Yeah, I guess we are, she answered. We're the Avengers of Harmony.